Hello, diary. We keep speaking the truth, so it is being spoken off my chest, so it is preserved for the future for my children, and so nobody can tell me that I am covering abuse of children. I am not covering it, I'm speaking out. All right. So today I found out something. Um, I watched a video from Danish Bashir, a narcissistic abuse recovery specialist, like a therapeutic or a coach. And he said something, maybe I got it wrong, but that something like that when you are being abused, you might want to help others who are in the same situation as a trauma response. Something like that. Yeah, Danish Bashir, one of the persons on YouTube who are narcissistic recovery professionals that can help you. I like his content quite a bit. Yes, and by the way, for me, the biggest eye opener was when, for me, narcissistic personality disorder went completely under the radar until a few years ago, and suddenly it opened my eyes for a lot of things. And then I was so enthusiastic that I took actually 1 hour with a German narcissistic recovery coach. But this is all I did now, until now. And yeah, because Danish Bashir said in his YouTube video, he was speaking about trauma response, and now I just Googled what even is trauma response, and I found an interesting article. Um, and in this article, it's not even about narcissistic abuse, it's just about trauma in general. In this case, it is an article about COVID-19 actually. So, and in this article, there are four typical trauma responses: fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And they are sorted in a way that you can learn to understand the trauma responses. So they are explained: the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And there is always a healthy or an appropriate way of how it can be manifested, or a negative way. And the narcissists that abused me, they told me, so I mean, there is a covert narcissist that gives me a permanent silent treatment, and an overt narcissist that does all the things that an overt narcissist does. And this person told me that I am not allowed to diagnose people, and this is absolutely true. I am well aware of that. I am not a licensed therapist, Yeah, I cannot diagnose people. But, I told these people already, I am willing to make a psychological test, whether I have a cluster B personality disorder, if they are willing to do the same, in order to find out who is who in this game of, illusion and delusion and lies and misleading. Yeah. And these people forced me here. They actually forced me. Everything that I am doing, I was forced to do. You know, I could either way be pushed over and give up and respond in all the negative ways that I will soon read to you and that have been suggested to me by the covert narcissist by acting the same way. So he does all the trauma responses and he was implemented in my life, and he does all the negative trauma responses. So he came as a deeply traumatized person and traumatizing person, because now they start to influence my children with lies and sick mind games. And this person is all about the negative things. And I am a person, I am a healthy individual living my life. And I had nothing, no shadow, no darkness, no problems were in my life until these people came. And I did all the positive trauma responses. You will find out, I will read it. Yeah. And until now, I recovered quite well from this abuse. But I think it might make sense to, additionally to this 1 hour, because I was so enthusiastic when I found out about narcissistic abuse, and I'm not crazy, they are crazy, and it was all fucked up, fake and stuff, like agenda, strategy. They made a deal about child support, services, sex, money, property. Yeah, it was about this, a deal. And my children are still suffering from this deal. And yeah, when I found this out, I was so enthusiastic. I immediately made, I just booked, even though I don't have a lot of money, I immediately booked 1 hour with a narcissistic recovery coach, a German one. Okay. But I think I might additionally do some therapy because, I mean, it can't be bad, right? It can't be bad, considering what I've been going through. And now I want to get to that point. Right, so here we go. So the fight trauma response, when used in a positive way, it is create boundaries, be assertive, find courage, become a strong leader, protect yourself and loved ones when necessary. I did all of these. And the negative way is controlling behaviors, narcissistic tendencies, bullying, conduct disorder, demanding perfection from others, and feelings of entitlement. This was implemented into my life. And the overt narcissist, my wife, she said that the covert narcissist that has been installed in my life, she put him and me on one level and said we are mirroring each other. When the truth is, I did all the positive trauma responses and I was a non-traumatized person before that. I was a working, 100% working individual of society with no problems. I did the most work at home. Today there's 3 people who try to replace me, and my children have a worse life since I left because I can't be replaced. Okay, so yeah, so we have the negative sides of it, and now we have the flight trauma response. In healthy situation, a flight response to stress can help you to disengage from harmful conversations, leave unhealthy relationships, remove yourself from physically dangerous situations, and properly assess danger. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm properly assessing danger. I try to save my loved ones because I had to save myself, because I disengaged from harmful conversations and I left an unhealthy relationship. All right. And then an unhealthy flight response may lead to obsessive or compulsive tendencies, needing to stay busy at all times, panic and constant fear, perfectionism, workaholic tendencies, and inability to sit still. Guess on which side of this talking point we are on? Guess on which side I see these tendencies? I don't have to mention it, right? Okay, And then we have the freeze response. A healthy freeze can look like mindfulness, awareness, full presence in the moment. What am I preaching to you in all the last videos of my self-development YouTube channel that has evolved as a result of leaving the dysfunctional family unit and becoming mindful and aware and present in the moment, basically, because now I even have the ability. I don't get influenced. I don't get attacked in all ways, you know. In other words, I have time to think and not working full-time, a job that none of the people involved could do. And on top of that, I was the one cooking all the time for the children, making their food in the morning, bringing them to bed. I did everything. They were just fucking in the room next door. You know, this was the concept. This was the dream of the future for my children. This is the nest warmth that they need. This is the vision of a narcissistic mother for her children. Okay, I learned this kind of brutal truth speaking from New Breed Global Truth. And I don't support everything he says. Every man stands for his own, and I stand for what I say. But I admire the courage that New Breed has when he speaks out against all the people in Hollywood, you know. When you want to understand what happens in Germany, we follow America. So you have to understand what happens in America. In America, it is a more extreme, perverted way. And the Germans, they do the same stuff, but in a very, very reduced and very kind of handsome way. And when you want to understand what happens in America, you have to look at Hollywood. In Hollywood, it's the extreme, and this is where the godless part of society has its peak. Okay? But I'm not here for making awareness about where the badness in society comes from. But it comes from Hollywood. And in Hollywood, everybody just about money, 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 deals. They do blackmailing in all ways. And they make these... Check out the Puff Daddy parties. Check out what is Epstein stands for. What Prince Andrew did. What Clinton did with Epstein. And this is just not even the top of the iceberg. Okay, so... yeah, revealing truth. Man, they force us to do it. It's the only thing that is left. If you get pushed over, if these people are successful, if these people are successful, should we be quiet? Not speak about it? Let my children be traumatized? Let my children have nightmares each night they sleep there? Let stupid people have maliciously envious, sick behavior and telling lies to my children? Is that the vision for their future? Well, I can think of something better. Okay, so when someone habitually reacts to stress with an unhealthy freeze response, it can cause dissociation, isolation, frequent zoning out. Who is frequently zoning out? Oh, I'm not here. I just leave a feeling of blame to anybody because I'm just away because it's sick. All right, brain fog. Difficulty making decisions or taking actions. Perceived laziness, fear of achieving or trying new things. Well, all these things is the opposite of what I'm doing and is exactly what I have been witnessing every day. And it still happens to this day. This is the future this is the vision for my children. This is much better than, and also this wife of mine, I'm speaking the truth like nobody now. I'm giving a fuck. You know, I believe there is this, it came from her, this saying, well, I have given birth to these children so I can do with them what I want. So a little bit this idea, you know. It's like, well, I had a lot of pain when I bring you to life, so now I will inflict pain on you, right? Well, I gave you milk to you, now I will get the milk out of you again, right? Man, I tell you what, I am so thankful. See, the problem is really that when I when I was speaking about God and Nietzsche's Übermensch, what people today lack is this kind of love that is truly forgiving and giving without wanting anything in return, and taking any blow willingly for the person that is loved. And this is the love I have for my children, and I see it nowhere. When I look around, I see this, something like that, nowhere. All right. Understanding the fawn trauma response. Oh, there is not a list. Fawning is the least known trauma response, and it is primarily related to people-pleasing. Individuals who spend a lot of time around toxic people sometimes learn to go above and beyond to make the toxic person happy, thus neutralizing the threat. In some cases, fawning can be productive. For example, if you throw a piece of meat at a dog that is chasing you, you just might distract them long enough to use your flight response and escape the situation. Oh, I think I did something like that. Individuals with a fawn trauma response tend to be highly attuned to the emotions and needs of others. This sensitivity can enable them to empathize deeply with others. Yeah, alright. So this is, I was a sensitive person before and highly empathetic person. This is why all these people were attracted to me, because I had a positive influence on all of their lives. I pushed them on the next levels. But it went to the point, like, I experienced it everywhere. Now, still, people like it, people want that, but at some point it gets too much for them. And the same thing happened there, That what they needed, that what could save them, that what helped them, that what introduced them into social life, that at one point they want to own it and control it. If not, destroy it. This is when love turns to hate. And this is this kind of so-called love. I have a different thing within me. And this is why I misinterpreted and misunderstood everyone around me, because I had to learn that not everyone is like me. But this fawn trauma response explains why I became from a sensitive person to a highly sensitive person, because I was forced to understand all the sickest and ugliest person that ever came into my life. And it began with one person that I found very it was very uncomfortable to even put myself in this position and start to understand it. But I did because I had to. I wanted to stick with my children. And then another person came into my life, the covert narcissist. And when I started to understand him or explain him, at least basically, this was the point when I had to re-evaluate the level I put all other persons on, because this person was so bad that I said, okay, I didn't like this person before, but now the person is quite okay compared to this. Okay? Yeah. So, yeah, the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. And I will keep on speaking my truth until I am where I want to be, and until my children are where they deserve to be. Amen.